to be with so many friends, and all of you who are friends of the family and who are dear to Bob. It's a pleasure, an honor, and a distinct privilege. In fact, I'm quite humbled that the family asked me to speak on behalf of Bob, our relationship. I only knew Bob about 9 years. He's been in the Valley 40 or so years, and so many of you have known him for such a longer period of time. And I'm anxious to hear some of your memories when we meet in the fellowship hall later.
A few days before he died, I asked Bob 2 questions. Well, I asked him more than 2 questions, but I'm just going to talk about them. I said, first of all, have you written your obituary? Because you remember the obituaries that Bob wrote. I was anticipating having him write mine, but didn't quite get around to it. He said, yes, and I said, oh, thank goodness, because it would be just wrong not to have a Bob Liggett obituary for Bob Liggett. And then I asked him, what will you say to our Lord when you meet? And without missing a beat, he said, what took you so long? And I said, what do you mean? I mean, why has the Lord waited so long to bring me home? Surely he was reminded by Dorothy Wheeler that at the moment that he meets our Lord, he'll be so happy he'll forget all of his questions. This did not help. Bob was not satisfied. In fact, he began to scowl, and so I said, Bob, do you need to ask this question because it's the reporter in you? And he said, yes. Bob's question for our Lord is so telling, I believe. It makes abundantly clear how ready he was to go home. In these last few years, he wrote with great grace and humor about how he had really used up his body, and it would not do what he wanted it to do. Fortunately, he had such great humor, and he communicated to all of us because his mind was there until the very last moment, asking questions and giving us all